Hi, I'm Dr. Asha Priyanka, your public health dentist, and today's topic is establishing and maintaining a dental office. Okay, so you've decided I'm opening up a clinic. Now, what actually happens? So first of all, you try and find a place, right? The first thing you'll actually do is look for a place. So in real life, you'll think, can patients find this easily? Is there a parking? Are there already like 10 dentists in this lane? For example, the main road here would have good visibility. And inside apartment basement, you'll have very low walk-ins. So the location is basically like saying like, will people come or not? Okay, so now you get the keys, you get one big empty room. So now you think, where will the patient sit? Where will I treat? Where will I sterilize my instruments? You replay the real layout in your head. Like you see that, okay, patient will enter, then there should be a reception area. Patient is going to wait, so there's a waiting area. Patient goes in, there's a dental chair, and then instruments should be in the sterilization room. If your layout is bad, your patients bump into your staff all the time. But if your instrument gets mixed up, then there's always a risk of infection. So the layout is, very smooth movement. They should have very smooth movement, and you should keep all the safety and everything in mind as well. Now you buy your equipment. Then reality hits you. You don't buy everything at once. You think, okay, what do I really need first? For a starter setup, at least you need a dental chair, a compressor, suction, basic instruments. Then later you can think about an RVG, endomotor, more advanced things. So the clinic grows step by step. Now you realize after buying all your instruments, you realize very fast that you cannot do everything alone. So the real situation is like, the patient will come in, the phone will ring, instruments are not, they need cleaning. So you realize you can't do all of that. So you hire an assistant, you hire a receptionist. Otherwise, there's just a whole bunch of chaos. And then you also handle the legal stuff. It's not fun, but it's important. This part everyone will ignore, but it is serious. For a clinic, you need clinic registration, you need biomedical waste tie-up, and if you're using X-ray, you need X-ray licensing. In real life, without this, you'll be in a lot of legal trouble. Now you start getting your patients, like your clinic is ready, but it's sort of empty. The real question will be, how will people know that you exist? So some ways are obviously physically, you need a board outside your clinic with your name. You need Google listing, you need word of mouth, you need Instagram. These days, Instagram marketing is everything. However, where your treatment is almost secondary to how well you can dance or you can do reels on Instagram. Sorry, that's maybe a wrong way to put it. Content and branding and digital marketing are very much the need of the hour right now. People need to know you and need to trust you before they walk into your clinic. So let's do like a day-to-day reality check or maintenance phase. So this is where your clinic either grows or it fails. First up comes your cleanliness. You walk into your clinic every day, you have to sterilize the instruments, clean the chair. If not, infection risk will be there, and patient also very people are distrustful. They don't trust a filthy place. So then you have time management. So real life problem is if patients are waiting and you are running late, or you are there and patients are running late. Either way, the solution to the problem is proper appointments. The third problem is money management. So this is a very real problem, guys. Rent, salaries, materials. You constantly think, am I earning enough to sustain? The fourth is patient experience. So this is what actually builds your practice. If the patient feels comfortable, if they feel heard, if they're not rushed, then only they come back, and then they refer others as well. Another one is staff management. So assistants in real life don't show up, especially when you have important work. Sometimes the receptionist will make mistakes. So how do you handle these things? You have to train them well. You have to train them in communication well. And then, of course, you have to think about continuous improvement. So you're like, after a few months, you start to think, should I add an RVG? Should I improve the interiors? The clinic will always keep evolving. And then you have to be ready for emergencies. In real life, patients faint. Power cuts will happen in between a big important procedure. And equipment will suddenly stop working and you just had one. You had only one. So these kind of emergencies do happen and you must be prepared for them. Now, in the exam, at least for this topic, the exam is not asking you theory. They're asking you, do you understand how a clinic works in real life? So think of it like this. If you had to open your own clinic tomorrow, what would you do first? And what mistakes would you avoid? Let's see what you've learned from this. Now let's take a look at an MCQ and a flashcard from this topic. Which of the following is the most important aspect in maintaining a dental office? A. Expensive furniture. B. Infection control and sterilization. C. Advertising. D. Decoration. I'm sure you can lift out two. Expensive furniture, decoration, forget it. But you might be thinking about advertising because it's such a big thing now. But any day, sterilization beats everything, anything. So the answer is infection control and sterilization, option B. So importance of infection control in dental office design. We suggest or we require a separate sterilization zone to prevent cross-contamination. This is very important. So that was our topic. We will see about the details, the finances, the money, and what are other things that need to be taken care of in regard to a dental clinic in the next topic. See you then.